Hey guys, my name is Melvin. I'm based in Hong Kong and I make shisha and freeze launch. So today I'm going to be showing you some techniques to enhance your shisha experience. So what I'm going to be teaching you today is, firstly, I'm going to be showing you how to pack your shisha with a Japona bowl. I'm going to show you how to do a heat management in a much more higher level. And I'm also going to show you how to prevent your shisha from burning out, or how to fix your shisha when it's burned out. So in my station right now, I have two bowls. One is a Japona bowl and one is a Kanza design. Japona bowl has one of the best ways to pack, and there's many different varieties to use to pack the Japona bowl. And the reason why I like it is, firstly, you save a lot of tobacco. So if if you have no money and you can't afford a lot of tobacco, then this bowl is gonna be the best bet. So over here, it's called a Kanza design CD17. Why I like this is because, firstly, it's for beginners. And for this, you're able to punch in a lot of tobacco, let's say around 25 grams. So for this, you're gonna have a much more longer duration of smoke comparing to the Japona, but the packing is a bit easier comparing to the Japona. So usually how I always do, there's two ways how I pack. So I prefer the chopsticks. I'm very Asian. I don't like to use a fork or a spoon or anything else. So today I'm gonna be making you a very simple mix, something that anyone can just pick up from any store and just pack. So for right now, I'm gonna be using African Queen, which is one of the most best tobacco that you can ever think. It's from OS, and it's a mix of 16 berries. And another tobacco would be it's all German tobacco, and another one is FFM. So why I prefer these two mixes is, firstly, it's the easiest to make, and I think for me it's gonna be the flavorful because of the way I will be showing you. So for me, what I always do before I pack for you guys is, first, for me, if I use the chopsticks, I always wipe no matter what I do. The reason why you wipe your chopsticks, or if you wipe your spoon, is because if you have any water droplets into your tobacco, it's gonna make it really mild. It ruins your tobacco. So for me, what I always do, I always get my bowl, I mix it up. The reason I mix it up is because there's a lot of juice underneath, and after mixing it up, you're able to have all that juicy tobacco lying there. So first thing, I always grab a bunch of tobacco. I put my finger in the middle. The reason is so that the tobacco doesn't fall off the bowl. So very simple. I always sprinkle a little bit in, maybe 5-10 grams, and I push it in. The reason why I push it is so that I'm not really forcing the tobacco to go in. I can just show you. It's very simple. Let's say I'm gonna put another tobacco in. So this is a mix of strawberries. Very, very sweet strawberry. It's like if you want to have some diabetes in your life, I think this would be the best bet for you. So what I would do is I grab it, I move it a little bit to the edge. So for me, I'll tell you the most easiest thing. I am very simple. I literally would just take everything and shove it into a bowl. Shove it in, and then that's where the fun begins. Next, I'll get my fork, or you can say a poking thing. That's what I would say. What I will do is I always start from the edges. Why? Because firstly, edges are the most easiest to put and to fix. And the reason why I prefer fixing the edges is because when you pack a Japona bowl, the way it's structured, it's very narrow in this area, and the way it's built is so that in this area, if you don't put too much, so when you cover it, it'll fit right perfectly in. So what I would do is I would start from the sides, push it in. So as I said, if you put too much tobacco, this is gonna be one of the failed kind of packings. So as I said, I want to show you different varieties of how you pack. So this way, I'll tell you step by step. So if you pack a lot of tobacco, this is gonna what's gonna happen. As I said, it's gonna burn your bowl. So how do you fix this? It's very simple. What you can do is basically, if you don't mind wasting your tobacco, you can literally just throw it, or you can put it back in the bowl. But for me, I prefer to throw it because I like to take out what's always fresh. So whenever you're done with your pack, what you do is you always get either a tissue or towel. For me, I would use a towel, and I'll always clean the sides of my bowl. The reason why you clean it is so that there will be no juice or leakage going into your lotus. So that way it'll be, and plus it'll look much more cleaner and much more nicer. So for me, this is what I would say my go-to kind of pack for Japona. For me, this is called a semi-dense pack. It's not too dense and it's a little bit fluffed. The reason why I choose this comparing to a lot of other packing is, firstly, for me, I like the density that is like I'm smoking clouds, and for me, I think this will help you get much more cloud because of the way it's built. It's a mix of dense. So dense is very stuck together, which you can use for a different tobacco like 10GS. In front of me, I have two types of lotuses. Firstly, this is called the Cloud Lotus 1 Plus. This is basically, you can go to any shisha bar, they will have this. It's one of the best, it's the easiest, heat management is the best. For here is a little bit different. So the Zeflin Lotus is very unique because of the way it's built. So the reason why I like this very much is, firstly, if you have to compare between these two, is that if you can see from the sides, these kind of mechanisms here, these prevent the ashes from going inside the bowl. Right now I have some charcoals burning at the back. For me, I'm using cocoa, which is a custom Indonesian charcoal. For me, the reason why I chose this comparing to a lot of other charcoal brands is because this one has only 3% ash content, which means you're able to burn up really fast, and it's very hot, and the ashes is not gonna be falling too often. So for me, primarily heat management for me is very important. Number one reason why is because no matter how perfect your packing is, if you don't know how to control your heat management, you can say goodbye to a good shisha. So it's very simple actually how to fix this problem. So what I would always do is, let's say the charcoal's ready, right? I burned 3 charcoals, and I use 22 mm charcoal, so that I usually burn 3. So what I would do is, after it's burned, I would preheat my lotus for roughly 5-10 seconds. So I would put 3 charcoal into my lotus, and then I would cover it for, let's say, 70%, 70-80%. The reason why I do this is so that you need some oxygen in order to let your charcoal breathe. So what I would do is 70%, it's a right balance of oxygen, right balance of heat, so that way it'll burn non-stop. So after it's ready, what I would do is, for Japona especially, I would take out the lotus first, and then I would smoke it, see how the density of the smoke is, see how it feels to me. And if I think it's too hot, I would always take out 1 charcoal, and let's say there's 3 charcoals here, I'll take out 1, and depending on where I feel like horizontal or not, I would always put the charcoal on the edges of the lotus. That's very important, because if you put it in the middle, as you can see, this is a funnel. If you put all the heat here, you're basically burning nothing. You won't be, burning the tobacco. So that's why I always put the charcoal on the edges, so that way it'll burn much better. So we got some water. This is just not any water. It's a holy water, and it has some ice on it. So very simple. what I'm gonna do, pick any pipe you want. For me, I like dark side pipe. Why? It's much longer and black. So you can choose any pipe you like. I would choose a dark side, and I'll tell you why. It's a mix of Aeon. The mechanism of Aeon is very smooth, and over here it's gonna be the dark side stuff. You know, for me, dark side is a very strong Russian stuff, and I think that it's a good mix. So it's very simple. What I would do is, usually, for beginners, what you only have to remember is for a fact that you have to know where the diffuser is. It's either they have a diffuser or no diffuser. That's based on this. If there's a diffuser right now, what I would always do is I would always go 2 cm above the diffuser. Throughout the experience, I think that this is, you can say, the best water level. So for now, I'm just gonna be using ice water, but typically you could use any type of water, holy water, wine, you know, blood, anything you feel like putting into your base that has some flavor on it. So for me, the reason why I like the dark side Aeon also is because, or basically Aeon, is because it's screw-in. So basically screw-in, you can always just pick it up like this. And so this is typically what I would say 2 cm above the diffuser line. So for me, I think this is best. You know, for you guys, you can always, you know, try yourself how much you feel like having. You can put 5 cm, you can go lower, you can go higher. You know, just kick yourself and try yourself. You can try anything you like. So I got my charcoal in. What I do is slowly put it in here. So the thing about, you know, Japona has a lot of different styles, but for me, typically I got a little bit wider radius. So this should fit perfectly. So what I mean by putting on the edge is like, so thinking of it as a triangle. You keep your charcoal like it's a triangle. You make a hole in the middle and you face it like, you know, triangle. Then, very simple, cover the lid, as I said, 70%. So this is another problem. You can either put it like this and then screw it in, or you could do it like this and screw it in, really depending on you. So for me, I'm the lazy guy, so I prefer this. What you can do is, you put it in, you rotate, so that way it will never move out. Well, I forgot my hose, because you know, you should always have a hose beside you. So typically, if you know, when you're waiting for your bowl to heat up, there's few ways to know. Firstly, you feel your thumb and your finger in this position right here. If you're able to keep your finger, if you're not able to keep your finger for more than 1 second, that's when you know it's hot enough. That's one way. Another way is you can go underneath this part. If it's hot enough, like when it's very hot, you're not going to be able to put a finger in there for a few seconds. So let's say right now it's ready. On your first hit, you know, it has to be very white stuff on your first hit. That's when you know it's going to be a very good packing. So this is basically how I do my things, how I make my stuff. So if you want to try some good shisha, we're based in Freeze Launch in Central Soho. If you want to get some of my equipment like Japona bowls or any pipes, you can follow us on sober.shisha or sober.hk, the links are down below. And if you want to learn some more about how to pack, more in depth in more about shisha, everything is going to be listed down below. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.